Boku no Hero Academia's characters are special in the way that Horikoshi writes them. Almost every character has at least one unique relationship with another character. The characters' backgrounds heavily influence their personalities, and the characters are written with a lot of room to grow. First, I'll analyze the backgrounds and how they affect the characters in the present. Bakugo is the biggest example of this. Bakugo's biggest traits are his aggressiveness and his arrogance. When All Might goes to his house, we can see that his mother resorts to violence very quickly, and in the remedial course, Bakugo explicitly states this when he wants to use violence to tame the kids, saying that's how he was raised. One of the kids even figures this out and calls his upbringing terrible. His arrogance is explained by how he was showered with praise for his quirk when he was younger, which his mother also explicitly states. Two of Bakugo's biggest traits are explained through his backstory, and it's believable. Endeavor is another great example of this. Endeavor is also aggressive and is obsessed with surpassing All Might to the point that he would use quirk marriage to create kids until he got the perfect one, which he would then put through harsh training. In the most recent arc, it is explained that Endeavor knew that he would never be able to surpass All Might no matter how hard he tried, which is why he created Todoroki. This explains two things. It explains not only why he's so angry, but also why he did what he did to Todoroki. Knowing that he would never be able to surpass his rival must be extremely frustrating. And now that the symbol of peace is gone, and even the number one hero is struggling in a fight, it makes sense why Todoroki, who was made to surpass the now retired number one All Might and the current number one Endeavor, would be needed. Although his actions are still inexcusable, we can at least now understand where he's coming from. Midoriya is reckless and quick to injure his body to get what he wants. As a kid, Midoriya wanted to be like All Might, but he was told that he'd never manifest a quirk. Now that he has a quirk, and he can be like All Might, he recklessly pushes himself to meet his idol's expectations. Because he hasn't had his quirk for a very long time, unlike everyone else, he has less control over it, but the lack of experience isn't enough to stop him from pushing himself, and that combined with the dangerous nature of his quirk, causes him to injure himself. Todoroki refuses to use the left half of his power because he is determined to become strong without his father's half. This is because Endeavor's abuse caused his mother, the only person who supported him through his rough time, to fear his left side and eventually burn Todoroki. This caused Todoroki to despise his father and desire to reach his goal without using the powers Endeavor gave him as a way of rejecting him. Kirishima doubts the abilities of his quirk and its potential to make him a pro hero. Some of this can be seen when he says that it's not as flashy as Bakugo's. This self-doubt can be traced back to an incident in junior high when he tried to help a student who was being bullied but was unable to. Ashido then came in and made it look easy. Another incident that added fuel to the flame was when he saw a menacing figure approaching a student but was too scared to act, and Ashido comes in to do what he couldn't yet again. Being unable to act like a hero and seeing someone else do it so easily understandably made him self-conscious. More great examples are found within the villains in the League of Villains and the Shie Hasaikai. In Shigaraki's childhood, something bad happened to him and no hero came to his rescue. When he was left on the street as an orphan, no passers-by helped him because they expected the heroes to do it. The only one who saved him was All for One. This makes Shigaraki's hate towards heroes and loyalty to All for One completely understandable. Setsuno was betrayed by his lover and left with a debt to pay. When he tried to kill himself, he was saved, and this left him empty. Tabe was an outcast that was discarded. Hojo was used and also discarded for his quirk. All of them felt useless, but Chisaki was able to give them worth in Shie Hasaikai. The three show their gratitude and their absolute loyalty to him to the point that they are ready to die for him. These backstories give us a greater understanding behind the characters' mindsets. Horikoshi is also able to start characters as despicable and make them grow into a likable character, along with making characters improve upon their flaws. Bakugo starts off as a very polarizing character because of his aggressive and arrogant personality. After being captured by the League of Villains, because of his aggressive nature that is more reminiscent of a villain than a hero, he becomes noticeably calmer and a bit friendlier. He goes out of his way to cheer up his class when they are feeling down, and even pays Kirishima back for his money he spent on rescuing him. When he talks to All Might about Midoriya, he is extremely calm, composed, and mature about it. After his second fight with Midoriya, he even gives him advice on how to fix his shoot style. This is not saying that he has lost his aggressive nature, because in the hero license exam, he failed specifically because of this. At the end of the exam, Midoriya even notes on how it's been so long since he picked on him, saying that ever since Kamino, he's done less than ever before. Bakugo is able to talk to Midoriya calmly and even tells him that he made his borrowed power into his own, a big change from their earlier encounters where he would always scream and get angry. To show even further growth, at the end of the remedial course, Bakugo tells one of the kids, "If all you ever do is look down on people, you won't be able to recognize your own weakness." Endeavor begins as a very hateable character because of what he did to his family. During the remedial course, he goes to ask All Might on what it means to be the symbol of peace, as he is now the #1 hero. This shows development because Endeavor and All Might have not been on speaking terms since 10 years before the start of the series. Endeavor realizes how much weight his position holds and is able to put aside his intense rivalry in order to receive guidance from the only person he could never surpass. Midoriya starts off as reckless and quick to injure his body. He also is always trying to imitate All Might's fighting style. Midoriya grows in the way he uses his quirk. He starts off by destroying entire limbs by using 100%. After guidance from Aizawa, he limits his power to his fingers. During the attack of the League, he learns that he can limit his power to less than 100. He does this against the villain and Todoroki. After training with Gran Torino, he learns to spread his power throughout his entire body, starting at 5% full cal. When All Might tells him to find a style that is unique to him, he focuses his power on his legs and switches to using kicks, making the shoot style. This is because leg muscles are naturally stronger than arm muscles, separating him from All Might and making the quirk his own. The attacks and shoot style are also noticeably a little different than All Might's pure American naming scheme, as one is named Manchester Smash. When Midoriya reaches 20% full cal, he is able to fire shockwaves. This new addition makes him get gear from Mei and refine his fighting style. Midoriya now uses punches, kicks, and compressed flicks in full cal. The other character growths are much smaller, but still important. Todoroki learns that his left side is his own power and not his father's, which allows him to use both fire and ice. Ida tries to take on Stain by himself, but his friends come to save him, and they are able to obtain victory. Here Ida learns to rely on his friends, and this can be seen when he tells Midoriya the same thing during the internship arc. During the internship arc, Kirishima is doubting himself again when his new technique is easily destroyed by Rappa. While Fat Gum is taking on Rappa's barrage, Kirishima is left watching in fear, but after a flashback of his past mistakes and his idol, Crimson Riot, he is able to get the courage and resolve he needs to step in between the two and take on Rappa's attacks by quickly rehardening after his armor breaks. Even though he feared Rappa's attacks, he feared going back to his cowardly self even more. After her quick loss against Tokoyami in the sports festival, Yaoyorozu began to lose confidence, and when she began to compare herself to Todoroki, her pride was further crushed. This is shown in the internship and the semester exam, but with inspirational words from Todoroki, she's able to regain confidence. Finally, characters have unique relationships amongst each other. Horikoshi finds a way to give each character one standout relationship with another character, and this is not just for the mainest characters. He does this even for side characters. For example, Bakugo initially has an antagonistic relationship with everyone except for Kirishima, who is the first to initiate a friendship with him. Todoroki has a little rivalry with Yoarashi. Kaminari and Minato have their perverted alliance. Kaminari has a punching bag relationship with Jiro. Ashido subtly looks out for Kirishima, and there are much more. In conclusion, Horikoshi's skill as a writer is displayed in the ability to write dynamic and complex characters that not only have room to grow, but also have unique relationships with various characters. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more content.